Immortality.
We are not pleased.
So they have to let out steam.
Hi, Ohio.
Good morning.
No, I was trying to figure out
Bad. I'm a terrible Come on, Pat. Yeah, on the boat.
Thanks, that's already better, David. Spoiled. Can you get me some fire under here? Can you get me some fire under this pen? What's motonai? That one's done for you. What are you doing?
Maybe a bit impossible.
Maybe a bit impossible?
Yeah.
This one's pretty much done. Alright. It's poisonous.
That's what I mean.
Can we have some balls? Sure.
Because we want to know what American women say to what you say.
I think ideally, like any point that seems even of tangential interest to anyone as the conversation goes on should be just like thrown in.
That were brought up earlier this morning in this discussion. Are we going to organize the discussion around those issues, or are we going to just discuss them incidentally?
Organize.
Okay.
Better, I think.
Okay.
Because we have only 15 minutes. Too close, I think. Yeah, I know.
I still takes care of my father underwear and socks. He understands how tough my mother's been, how tough it's been for my mother. And he does what he can, although he's not good at it. He might just say, can I help you with the dishes? Can I help you carry the laundry to the laundromat? Stuff like that. And I've been seeing this for the last 3-4 years. And my vision's begun to change. And see, I don't want my wife or my partner to be under the same conditions. So that's when I started thinking of other alternatives.
What she wants. I want to share the works in the house and that we call give and take relationship. I want to be give and take relationship. But I think I want to be like as I said, as a Japan traditional father. Because as Kazuki said, I think children want to see his father work hard, and then he also think he have to study hard. He has to study hard and support her mother, her advisor for my children, and I think all to have contact with children all the time is not so good. When there are some kind of difficulty or problem, father give advice is the best way for the father and husband, I think.
Is that how you grew up? Is that how your family was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that
very nice, and it shares the responsibility of the sort, and it works. It might work out fine. However, as you might notice, they all said that they have to find a way around the system to get it done, and it's the way I feel about it is it's like my ideal feeling is with that they should see because like people, I think people just in order to stay together must have different interests and must pursue their different interests to be interesting to each other. At any rate, like I don't know, I wouldn't be able to stand someone talking to someone who stays home all the time.
Right.
No, I agree with Bergen on that point because, like, you know, if she can only talk to a soap opera or something, what happened? Where's the next meat prices coming from? I don't. I personally think that those things, talking about those things is hardly exciting, so, or even intellectually stimulating or anything.
Yeah. Is your mother, by the way, she stayed home?
Well, what she does is like she reads a lot and she does a lot of like particularly otherwise because like my father works for a Japanese company. And the reality of the situation is that if I go into a Japanese company, then I will be a traditional Japanese father also, because whatever good are my intentions are, the way these things have turned out, it would seem to me that there's no other way but to separate work and delegate work traditionally. Like woman does laundry and things and cares for children, and men work hard and concentrate on their work. Seems to be the most logical delegation of work under the circumstances. Two questions after this, so you want to comment?
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
Which is more important, your family or your work?
I don't know until I get there. See, I can't really say. That's why I'm giving two visions, because like I can't really say which will be more important to me, but I would think that I set that as an ideal because I want to respect the partner or other person.
Okay, which do you want to respect?
Because like,
what do you want now?
Now I don't know. I'll let because I don't know how hard. I don't know exactly how hard the work is, and things like that. So I'll probably respect the person because I get to see other people every day, and you know, but I don't get to see work every day. I wouldn't have to work hard every day.
So you'll start thinking when you get your partner and you get your work.
I don't know, but see, I'm being honest because this is the only way I can think about this. Because like, I mean, I can say that I respect work or I respect, but I don't really know.
It might change when we get there.
So, and
Very realistic.
What occurred to me as you were talking is that the Japanese employment system, the work system, which does not really include women, on the surface would collapse without women in the home.
Yeah.
It would collapse because every Japanese male employee is a support system.
And they also, they put a lot of pressure on employees for them to get married.
Yeah, but you can't work the way you work or your fathers.
Without
your mothers or your wives don't stay at home or do your laundry or make sure there's dinner and food and money, etc. Which is very hard.
Yeah.
what the United States was in 1950s or 1960s, and what kind of similarities do you find between the situations that U.S. has experienced and the situation that Japan is experiencing now from what we said? And the second question is, what direction should it take? What direction seems all right to you? What direction seems interesting? What direction should it take, and what direction is it going to take? I think these things are different. What kind of direction should Japanese society take, do you think? And what kind of direction is it going to take?
It's kind of interesting. It probably resembled very much a typical, in a lot of ways, a Japanese family. My mom and my father married while they were in college. My mother transferred to my father's college house so she could finish up. She was pregnant when she graduated from college. She had 4 children before she was 27 or 21. She didn't work. My father worked Monday through Saturday, long hours. He was rarely home. This was true while I was growing up. I went to the office with him on Saturday, much like you were saying. That's what I did. And when I was born when my mother was 32, she still didn't start anything. When I was 5 years old, she went to law school and became a lawyer, and that was the breaking point. My father, I think, got very intimidated because she became a pretty good lawyer, so they got divorced. And now it's okay, his wife now is in the International Commerce Commission and everything, and that's okay now because he's had time to adjust. But that very much resembles what you're talking about. And I didn't see my father when I was pregnant. And in answer to your next question, what direction should it take and what is it going to take? That's where I wonder about the business about going around the system or changing the system from within. What I saw happen in this family, and my family was not unusual according to my mother. According to my mother, all of her friends were married within 3 years after they got out of college, except one of them, one friend of hers, who's like the only one still married, besides Susie's mother, who was also
who married straight out of college.
Straight out of college. But this woman waited until she was 30. Everyone worried. They worried that she wouldn't get married.
Was she in a career up till then?
Yeah, she got a job, and everyone was sure that no one would ever marry her, and they did, and now she's really happy. But
What happened to your mom?
my mom went through a really, really rough time because she hadn't worked, and she was just left, and she had mentally, it was really rough on her. She almost had a nervous breakdown. She almost, it was really rough for her. But she went back to work as a secretary, and she's really come an incredibly long way. She hadn't grown at all from being a housewife.
Yeah.
She hadn't grown mentally at all.
It's like what
Yeah, they went to counseling to try to patch their marriage up, and the counselor told my dad that she still had the intellectual or mental capacity of a 16-year-old woman. And I'm talking about sexually, and they were married 20 years and had 4 kids. Okay.
Is there a negative moral value?
That's a subject where a lot of the arguments have been made, and it's not like you can really convince somebody.
I don't think that's okay. I don't think that's the point here. If we're going to discuss a moral question, then simply hearing about them is not we're not trying to convince anybody. But I think hearing more about the moral issue will help us understand it better and better come to our own conclusions.
But it's kind of like people believe in abortion or else they don't.
Most of the moral arguments
child, embryo, there is a right to have a career life of the woman. And also, there is his husband's right to have a child. There are three points.
I'm Dr. George Saba, a graduate of the University School of Medicine and director of the World Federation of Right to Die Societies, executive director of Japan Society for Dying with Dignity, one of the founders and most active members of the Euthanasia Society here in Japan. This morning, the discussion will take the following format. Mr. Nishioka will begin, and because he will have to speak in Japanese and we will have to allow time for interpretation, we will have 15 to 20 minutes to give a general statement, a keynote statement, his position on euthanasia. Then we will ask each of the panelists, beginning with Dr. Saba, followed by Donald, and then Dr. Carey, to comment for no more than 10 minutes on their position on the issue of euthanasia, feeling free to comment on any of the previous panelists' statements. So that's 45 minutes, 15, 10, 10, and 10. And after that, we will have a question and answer session. And I would like, feel free to direct questions toward all or any of the panelists. And I would like to ask the panelists to feel free to address any question that comes up, even if the question is directed specifically at one person on the panel. If they would like to add something, please feel free to do so. Delegates, I'd like to remind you that all our panelists are aware of the jazz hand signal, and should you feel necessary, please don't feel embarrassed to use it. I will be keeping time, and as necessary, we'll give 2-minute warnings during periods of as panelists comment by saying, please try to wrap up your comments here. Okay. If there are no questions from the panelists on format, we can begin with a statement on the issue of euthanasia by Mr. Nishioka.
私は英語が全然喋れませんので、今回のパネリストをお断りしたんですけれども、日本語でも非常に有能な通訳をつけるから出てくださいということで依頼されたので、有能な通訳の助けをお借りしまして、皆さん方にご理解いただければ非常に幸いです。
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. And originally, I wanted to turn down my request to be present here and address all of you because I can't speak English at all. And then the person in task asked me to speak with the help of interpreter. And please bear with my interpreters for English.
午前中に与えられたテーマは安楽死ということです。安楽死というのはもともとの意味は極楽往生とかあるいは美しい死であるとかそういうふうな自然死そのものを起用した言葉だと思うんですけれども、現在では安楽死はある人の死に第三者が関与する場合を予定しているというふうに思います。
In Nara, there is a shrine where a number of people go, but to pray for a sudden death. Hokuri yo. They pray that they'll drop dead. And I think that's certainly a worthy thing to pray for, because if you have lived or have seen anybody suffering over a long time, it presents a grave problem to the family, to society, and to the person themselves, who, especially the person who is suffering.
And that is transferring patients from nursing home to hospital. Nursing homes are places where old people, chronically ill, are kept with nursing care. There's usually a doctor comes around once or twice a week to take care of medical problems that can be taken care of. But often the people in nursing homes are not considered curable. And most of them, the parents or children of people in nursing homes, because some of these people are not old. Some of them are young people who have been in automobile accidents and their brain has been practically totally destroyed, but they're being kept alive. Then something happens that makes the patient a little worse. Nursing homes, which to my mind ought to be places where people go to die if they have to die, are places where the administrators don't want people to die in the nursing homes. They think that gives the nursing home a bad name. So they rush the patient to an emergency room at a big hospital.
Comment on the issue of both abortion and birth control in countries which are economically depressed, like the Southern American countries shown in the film this morning. And also, the hardships shown make it clear that there must be something done, and I was wondering if you had any suggestions or comments on that issue.
I've been to South America on one occasion about 15 years ago, and many of those scenes were very familiar to me at the time. I think one of the most serious questions, and the question of if you take South America, is a more equal distribution of the wealth down there. Usually about 1% of the population controls about 95% of the wealth in almost every country down there. Does she have any personal private rights? Well, Dr. and I agree completely on that particular point.
Okay, before we take any further questions, we've only got like 5 more minutes, and we have enough time for 1 or 2 questions, depending on the length of the question.
Devices, yes. And I
Here to
research
start.
what I said. Yeah.
Okay, now, I'm not very familiar with God's law, but it seems to me that contraception is more like somebody knocking on somebody else's door. You know, you can either let them in or shoot them away. You know, not let them in. I'm wondering, what is this God's law that seems to be interfering with the process, which to me seems perfectly natural, and as natural as letting somebody in your house or not.
Well, basically,